guy running or Latin. The guy run, my friend, but they're gonna catch him. You see that, my friend? They're gonna go get him. They're gonna go get him, my friend. Look.
What's up, fam? It's your boy Demuir here, purveyor of all sounds underground. Thank you for joining me on this YouTube Thursday, where today I'll be sharing my top 3 compressors that I love to use on a continual basis, depending on the situation, of course. But before we jump into things, what I need from each of you is that SLC, subscribe, like, and comment, and more importantly, don't forget to hit the notifications bell to stay in touch with the new things we got coming. Much love and respect. Let's get into it. Peace. All right, so the top 3 compressors that I like to use whenever I'm engaging in the use of compressors, I don't like to over compress things. I use them specifically to control dynamics or add a little bit of color to a signal or instrument. So in this case, the Logic stock compressor, I would use this often in a side chaining situation. If I had a bass here, I would make sure I selected the kick. So in this case, it would be my punch box. I then go over to the side chain selection here and say every time that signal hit, make sure you are affecting this particular frequency on that instrument. So if this was a bass, I'd say, every time this kick hits, make sure you're cutting out briefly at 52 Hertz in this example. And my attack would be super fast with a super fast release. Auto was a good setting I would use from time to time, and it just worked nicely. But I do like track spacer better, for that particular situation and making sure kicks cut through. But if you don't have track spacer and you're using Logic, this is a nice alternative. The next one is pretty exciting. So if you saw my last video on drum management, I'm just going to solo this out. This particular instrument was what I call like a snare layer, and let's listen to it quickly. So you would hear that there, and I love the Wolf compressor here by the Good Hertz crew. It's awesome, and I love the setting called the 2-bus glue parallel. It mimics parallel compression quite accurately, I might add. So here it takes in the signal. You can control the amount of coloring that happens. So I did this very gently on this one, but just to exaggerate it, I've just upped that input. That's the compression. Let's go back to my original settings. You got this wow setting here. I use this quite a bit on my From Black to Technicolor Part 2 EP. I just love that how it mimics the parallel compression, and in this case it worked out nicely. Here's some difference with it off. Sounds very light, but with it on, sounds a lot more filled out. So this one works for me. Check out this compressor. It's great for snare situations. If you want to add a special effect to a sound, you get lots of different options here. But the parallel compression piece is the best. You just throw the plug-in on, and it does its thing rather than having to set up separate buses and manage different levels. So that's a nice alternative. The other one I think is great for drums is the Shadow Hills compressor. I usually use, where is it? It's, here it is. The hard knee compression. I love this thing because you get, so many options in terms of, the optical type of compression. and you can set the threshold on either side and versus discrete ratios and compression. So this is one of those compressors you just have to just try out and see it to your liking. As I said, I don't use this too often, but it does a very good job of emulating the real thing on different reviews I've seen online. Again, I use this just to control crazy dynamics that might be happening in the track, and it really smooths it out. It's not a obvious form of compression. It doesn't make things sound squashed. So I check these out. These are my top 3: Logic, Good Hertz Valve compressor, and Shadow Hills mastering compressor. Let me know your thoughts on it, and if you got any questions, please, I encourage you to drop them in the comments below, and make sure you hit the notifications bell. Peace.